I mean, cameras are wonderful, and it's click, it's of the moment. Painting is, and I've spent a long time working on a painting, it's a cumulative sort of effort. I mean, I'm not interested in interesting faces or funny noses or incredible eyes. What does interest me, and when I do a portrait, is the person. I mean, obviously, whatever triggers it, I don't know, but when I'm attracted, so that's what I try to convey, not just the physiognomy and hair and so forth, but really, and when I do a portrait, I sort of become, I really relate it mostly to acting, where I sort of become the person almost. And it's a process that I find addictive, but difficult too. What most affected me about Warhol was his incredible sense of wonder at everything. I mean, everything was, oh, look at that soup can. You know, it was really, it wasn't being clever, and it wasn't being sort of, oh, we're just going to do this as an image. It was really, he really had a sense, almost a childlike wonder. All the trappings of the factory, which really was rather extraordinary, types coming in off the street and so forth, and performance artists and whatnot. The center of this maelstrom of things going on was this figure with white hair, wig, and makeup and so forth. So he kept saying as I was working on it that I was using too much pimple paint, you know, because he was very concerned about his looks. And a lot of people, if you did a portrait like that, and they saw it halfway through, and they say, what in the hell? I'm not posing for that deer in the headlights sort of look. But he was intrigued with it and said, continue on, I'll pose. And, you know. Painting to me is miniature worlds, and I love miniaturization of things. And so with these two, I've sort of carried them to a real degree, where I literally constructed and then made the figures. And they're both, you know, major sort of things in my life growing up. Warhol for one, and then Lincoln Kirstein and Nureyev. And I thought, how fascinating, why not? I never was going to show these things. These were just for my use and to work from, to move them around and do drawings and so forth. And then Elliot Davis, the person who curated this show, she said, oh my God, we have to show them, you know, this is part of the story. Seagulls, to me, have been totally misinterpreted in paintings. They always look like doves or something, pretty white birds sitting on the rocks and so forth. Well, if you know a seagull, they're very nasty and scavengers and bright. So I've always been interested in trying to, you know, let's not do these cute birds, let's do them as they really are. And then one night I had this dream, I don't know why, of the 7 deadly sins. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, grabbing a piece of paper and just briefly sketching out the sins, as much as I knew about them, in the form of seagulls. And the next morning when I woke up, I looked at these things scattered all over my bed, and I thought, what in the hell? And then I remembered, and so that got me totally into that. I just jumped in. You've got to do it all the time, and practice and keep your things up. And once in a while, things click. When, you know, JFK comes alive to me in the painting, or a seagull comes alive. That's the opiate of painting for me. But a lot of work is behind that. You have to keep doing it. You just can't pick it up and say, oh, no, I'll take a week off. And also, I'm a very boring person. I have no hobbies, really, and all I do is paint. That's all I want to do. It was shortly after the death of my father, which was a huge sort of loss for me. We were equals together, friends, and he was a mentor, obviously. And so there was that. And then there was the image of Mohegan Island with the cliffs and the sea. And again, I had a dream of them, walking out to the cliffs in a huge storm with the sea coming in, and then seeing these two figures, and then walking closer and closer and realizing, oh my God, it's my father and my grandfather. And then off to the side, there was Warhol watching. And, you know, the sort of voyeur thing of Warhol. And, you know, so all these, again, that's for painting. You create your own worlds. And as much as I base it on my life and experiences that I've had, it's terribly exciting because you can just create all this sort of thing. And that's where even the tableau vivants, those little things, are little worlds that I've created. And you can do it just with your hands. You don't need much. I mean, you know, painting is what? A brush with some hair in the end of it, a stick, and some sticky stuff called paint, and that's it. You don't need cameras, lights, or anything. or orchestras and whatnot. It's an interesting discipline in that, it's very one-to-one.